Hello all, my name is Krish Naik and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, in this video, we are going to discuss about some of the important do's and don'ts before you go ahead with respect to the data science interviews. Now, I've seen many people, whenever they give data science interviews, they make a lot of very similar and common mistakes. And I'm not just saying it like this randomly, guys. I've been speaking to many people who have made successful career transition. I've understood from them specifically what kind of interview questions are being asked and what are the prerequisites that you really need to do before going ahead with respect to the interviews, and what are the common mistakes that you should not do, right? So all these things I'll be discussing in this specific video. Please make sure that you watch this video till the end. This will be super important, guys, because I know many of you are probably looking for jobs with respect to data analytics, data science, or data engineering position. Now, the first thing that I really want to go ahead with, I hope everybody will probably be applying from LinkedIn or Naukri or directly from the career page of the websites, right? So this many people are actually following. But one important thing is that whenever you see the job description, okay, whenever you see the job description, the first and the foremost important thing is that please always make your resume updated with respect to the job description and then apply. I've seen some of my students, as soon as they see a job description, they'll just go ahead and directly apply it. First and the foremost important thing is that see the job description. What exactly they require? Is it NLP? Is it deep learning? Are they looking for ML ops? And based on that, always try to make or modify your resume. You need to write down those specific information. It may be with respect to end-to-end projects. It may be with respect to the work that you have actually done. Okay, so always try to modify your resume based on the JD, that is the job description, before applying the job. Now, the second point is that whenever you get a call from a specific HR, right, related to any kind of job interviews that you're probably going to go ahead with, always make sure, right, take some sufficient amount of time before giving the first round of the interview. Okay, it can be 2 days, it can be 3 days, it can be 4 days. I've seen most of my students, what they do is that as soon as the HR says that, are you available for the interview tomorrow itself? So the student will say, yes, I'm available. Okay. And what happens is that within that span of time, the person is not prepared. Many people will not be prepared before going ahead with the interview itself, right? Because there'll be a short span of time before you attend the interview. If you are really prepared, I think 1 day time is more than sufficient. It is always a good idea that you give yourself around 2 to 3 days time so that you revise all the concepts, all the foundation knowledge, and then probably go ahead with the interview itself. So what I have done in my YouTube playlist, right, I have created one shot videos, let it be with respect to statistics, with respect to machine learning, with respect to deep learning, right? So all these videos you can quickly revise before going ahead with the interview. It will hardly take 1 or 2 days. If you're giving 2 days of time, I think most of the things you'll be able to revise it. And the other thing that people usually miss, when they go before the interview, is talking about the project. The end-to-end project you have probably created, the way that you have to probably explain to the interview, always make sure that you practice that extensively. The reason why I'm saying that, because in companies, whenever you go for the interview, they focus on the basic foundation knowledge, and the second thing that they focus on is the end-to-end project, how you have implemented it, what were the challenges, what was the goal of that specific project, and which all open source tools you have actually used, how with your team you have collaboratively worked, each and every life cycle, what challenges that you have faced, how you have solved it, any open source tools that you have used. Let's say with respect to data ingestion, what kind of databases you have used, how was the data pipeline basically created over there. Once you took the data, in the data transformation, what challenges you specifically faced. In model training, how did you probably apply different machine learning algorithms, what was the accuracy that you got, and how did you decide that, okay, this is the best machine learning algorithm. Along with that, how did you perform the model monitoring. Let's say some of the open source tools like Evidently AI, which will actually help you to do that, the model monitoring part. So if you know that specific thing, go ahead and probably tell them about it. All these videos I have already uploaded in my channel. So what I'm saying is that before going ahead with respect to the interview, take some sufficient amount of time and prepare all these things properly. right? All your basic foundation knowledge, let's say you take 1 or 2 days, and the third day probably you prepare extensively with respect to the project, how the project flow is, what all tools you have specifically used, and you can refer my YouTube channel also for that, because all the tools, let it be with respect to ML flow, with GitHub Actions, Git, evidently AI, DAGs, all these tools I have actually explained a lot of projects, so that you'll get an idea that how an end-to-end project is implemented. And obviously deployment is also a very important factor. Okay, so all these things you can probably explain to an interview, and for this you definitely require time. I'd also suggest practice some of the mock interviews itself. If you want mock interviews, you can definitely come to my channel. I'll be taking some very good interview questions for you. I'll be asking you questions related to projects and all. You can also practice that in my channel before going ahead. So if you have any interest, please definitely do communicate me in my Telegram or LinkedIn. I'll definitely call you live in my YouTube channel. Face all the public. The public will be seeing you. At that point of time, you will definitely prepare and come. Otherwise, many people will start insulting you. So that kind of fear will also be there. So I would always suggest try to attend mock interviews so that you get that specific confidence. I've seen my students, right, who were not able to clear the initial interviews, but they were learning something amazing because they were understanding the kind of questions that were specifically asked. Basic foundation knowledge, projects development. And if you are able to explain all this end to end, with proper challenges, the kind of challenges that you have faced, what all tools you have specifically used, all those techniques, that entire process. Okay, I was recently having conversation in one of the podcasts for a successful career transition. The person just said that if you are probably following the best process in data science, considering completely end-to-end project, I think that will be more than sufficient to crack any data science interview, right? So taking sufficient amount of time before going ahead with the interview and preparing all these things. Let's say if you are prepared it, right, I would definitely suggest go ahead with the interview itself. But most of the common mistakes that people usually do is that they don't take sufficient time even though they are not prepared, right? So if you are not prepared, I would always suggest request the HR that you may be busy in some office work. Can we do it in 1 week time? Can we do it in 3 to 4 days time? Okay. So this is super important, and these are the common mistakes that I have seen with respect to the people. They always skip this part, because once you fail a specific interview in that same company, you'll not be able to apply it for the next 6 months. So it is super important that each every interview that you probably get, take it as an opportunity. I know I've also spoken with many people. They say that, Krish, I failed in probably 5 to 10 interviews, and in the 11th interview I was able to crack. Some people were saying that, Krish, in my initial first 4 interviews itself, I've cracked all the interviews. Now how they were able to crack it, and how the people who are attending probably 10 to 15 interviews before her are not able to crack it, because they were prepared well. They're doing that specific practice, they were following that specific process. And these are the common mistakes that I feel people do it. I know getting a job sometimes looks quite exciting, but if you're giving sufficient amount of time with respect to that, you should be able to crack your first job. Not only first job, you'll be able to crack any interviews that you will be applying for it, right? So this is super important. Now many people also ask me, Krish, which all platforms should be specifically used for applying jobs? One is LinkedIn, that I've probably spoken from many people out there. You have to keep on sharing your knowledge in LinkedIn. Definitely go ahead and apply in LinkedIn with respect to the career page that is there. Let's say the data science job openings, data analyst job openings and all, definitely. And one more thing is that, see, I'm not promoting anything as such. I've heard from some people that people have also used Naukri premium services. Based on that also, they were able to get interviews and jobs. But if you don't want to apply, again, I would still trust on LinkedIn and the career pages of the specific companies. And the next thing is that referrals. I have created so many groups in Telegram, in Discord. There are people who are already working in the data science industry. Every week they post different job openings with respect to that in the profile itself. So whenever I get those kind of information, I'll also make sure that I will share it in my LinkedIn, Instagram and all. So please make sure that you come and join over there, have a connection with me over there, so that it will help you out with respect to that. So yes guys, this was it from my side. This were the common mistakes. Please make sure that every opportunity that you get, take it much more seriously. Don't let it go, because that opportunity can really be converted into an amazing thing as you go ahead, and after that you may be probably guiding some other people itself, right? So yes, this was it from my side. I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Thank you, one doll. Take care. Bye bye.